shine your light.
Be honest.
Whoa. When you see me walking by, you got a shining light.
No judgment, no criticism.
Chest so high, feeling good, you got a shining light. Big smile on face, keep it up, shining light.
Toxic relationship.
Shine a light, shine a light, shine a light. Big smile on face, keep it up, shine a light.
Even back then.
Shine a light, shine a light, shine a light. So shine a, shine a light.
If no one else
Shine a light, shine a, shine a light.
your left, your right.
Shine a, shine a light, shine a, shine a light. God said, shine a, shine a light.
You are
Shine a
the
light,
light.
shine a light,
It
shine a
only
light.
takes you to give
Walking
you
down
your
the
purpose.
street, I see people trying to
If
fight.
you know who you are,
Negative energy, I don't see, I'm out of sight. Positive things, you gotta bring to light. Teach a kid to read and ride a bike. Shine.
Hey, everyone. Welcome again to Shine a Light. How is everyone doing today? I hope you have been doing amazing. Um, of course, you know who this is. This is your girl, Kimmy B of Butterfly Thoughts LLC, of course, where I help young women to show their best self as they can be, transform them from chaos to peace. On this series of Shine a Light, we are going to be talking to entrepreneurs around the world and seeing how they do things in their neck of the woods. Okay, so today's special guest is one of my coaches, one of my special friends, my special sisters, um, Miss Sharline. How are you doing, my love?
Hey girl, I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Listen, introduce yourself to the people for me.
Yeah, so first of all, before I introduce myself, I want to say to Kimmy, I love this. I love this for you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so happy to see you shining. This makes me so happy. But yeah, my name is Sharline Nelson. I am a life purpose coach practitioner, and I help individuals who are seeking to understand their purpose, understand what it is that God has called them to do. And I do that for, all types of people. So professionals and even entrepreneurs as well, because especially recently, I've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs. Because I do realize that when we talk about purpose, we tend to put it in one side of our lives, but we don't think of it as something that is holistic. And so I've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs to help them navigate the business space and to make sure that what they're doing is, what they were called to do, and that everything is not just a big waste of time. Because a huge part of being able to find success is doing what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Absolutely.
So I really enjoy working with people and help them to connect the dots and help them through that journey so that they can, walk in the purpose. I know what it feels like to be circling the mountain consistently without having the right answers, without being able to see, certain results that I would have loved to see, having gone through that myself. And so I believe I was called, to help those persons who are struggling. And that's what I focus on right now.
Yes, I like that. And I'm so glad that, you're here with me today because, we always talk in the background and we always helping each other out the best way we can. And, not only for ourselves, but for our community that we're going to be assigned to or who's going to be assigned to us, right? So with that being said, how do you mold the people that you come across, and how do you just shine your light to be able to help them shine theirs?
A big part of shining my light is using my experiences. And I have had a lot of experience, a lot of wow moments, a lot of, oh wow, now I get it moments that I have filed away. And I have been able to use those moments to help people to get the right mindset for the journey to purpose, because I find that one of the biggest issues that people have is the mindset challenge. For some people, they think that they're too old, so they've gone too many years in life, so they feel like they're at a place where, at this point, I'm on the receding end of things and I don't think I can find purpose anymore. For some people, they are just in a place where they know they've been called for something. They know that there is a lot more than what they're experiencing now, but they don't know how. For some people, it's fear. For some people, it's disappointment because they've been trying and trying so hard, but they're still not getting to that place. And so they get to this place where they are just frustrated and they've told themselves, you know what? I'm not going to try anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. And so for me, it's about using my experiences, using faith, using the word of God, using the knowledge of God, using understanding God to help them to reframe their mindset. And once the mindset changes, it usually gives way for things to fall in place easier. And it's funny you should ask that question, because it always amazes me when I'm coaching that, and I say this to my mentees all the time, that when I get into class, I know what I'm teaching. So if I'm talking about generational curses, I know what it involves and I know what I need to talk about. But I've always invited God into my space in whatever it is that I'm doing. And we pray every class. You know that because you've been there.
Absolutely.
We pray every class before we begin. And what I find is, in the midst of me talking to people, majority of the times, the right life experiences and examples will just come back to me at that time in order for me to share them. And I always say God is just so amazing, because it's not like I go into class with a file in my mind, like, okay, I'm teaching this, so I'm going to use this example here. I'm going to use that example there. But once I start talking, the Lord just usually drops the right things in my spirit, where life experiences and examples are concerned, and they're usually the appropriate and the right ones for whatever discussion I am having. And it's good to be able to help people to understand that, listen, it's not as difficult as you think it is. And one of the things I love to say is that when you're going on a journey, like let's say, for example, you're visiting a place that you've never visited before, unless you have physically someone who's there with you that can say, okay, we make this left turn or we make this right turn, majority of the times you are solely dependent on the GPS to get you there. And you and I know that the GPS is not always correct. Right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Right. So it's good to just have someone who has been there before, who can navigate you in the right direction. And that's what I consider myself as. I find it a great privilege. And privilege is probably an understatement. That God would really endow me and give me this privilege to be able to lead his people into the place of purpose. So,
And you said so many different things, and I've experienced that same thing of knowing what to say at the right time. And it's not like you go into it with, oh, okay, well, this is what we're going to talk about. Okay, I'm going to ask this question, that question, that question. Or I'm going to just, I just feel the moment. And I tell people, like, sometimes when you are going into something, you have to know when to say, all right, take a breather, walk through it, and allow the moment to dictate what you say and what you do. You got to know how to read the room.
Yes.
Right? So I'm glad you said that. Like, that really just solidifies what I think and how I move in life. It's confirmation, And like you said, we've been in class many times. We pray before we start class. And to me, that is such a staple. If you want to be successful at this thing called life or at this thing called entrepreneurship, you got to have something that you believe in that is greater than you.
Yes.
You know? So I'm glad you do that with your mentees. And of course, I was one at once upon a time. And it was an amazing experience, like when you are in your little areas, you never think that you're going to meet people all across the world.
Yeah.
And become friends with these people. Become like, oh, well, I know who I can send this person to or that person to. You know what I mean? And for us to have met this way, it couldn't have happened no other way.
No other way.
Because you live in Jamaica, I live in New York. There's no other way that this could have happened. You know what I mean? And I've never been to Jamaica. You might have been to New York, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't have known each other to meet each other. No. So I say all that to say, you never know who you're gonna run into. You never know who God has for you to continue your journey in this thing called life. But you have to be willing. And I've said this on a couple of episodes before. You have to be willing and open to want to grow, to want to do better for yourself. Because you said something to the fact of people think that they're too old or they've lived on this earth for too long, that they can't learn nothing else. They know it all. You know what I mean? And it's not always the case. It is not always the case. And there's two things that I always say to people. There's two things that we will always be in this thing called life. And that's a teacher and a student. We must always remain those two, because if we don't remain those two, we're not growing and we're going to stay stuck.
That's right.
Right? And so thank you for saying all of that, because it brought so much to light. It just confirms a lot that the things that I do say to people, other people is thinking is on the same path. And once we're all on the same path, we can always continue to light each other's path, and not only light each other's path, but light other people's path that comes in our path. And so with that being said, today we're going to be talking about purpose in business, right? And we both are entrepreneurs. We're both are, still in the, I say beginning stages, and, maybe in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
How has entrepreneurship been for you?
Wow. First of all, I'll say it has been a learning experience. And it has been a mix of good, some bad days. Some days it feels like too much. Some days it feels just right. It's a mix. And I remember when I originally started my business, I had gotten to a place where I just felt like it was time for me to tap out. And I remember thinking, I told y'all this wasn't going to work, because my friends kept telling me, you have great ideas, you have this, you have that, go do this, go do that. And I didn't want to do it. But I remember one year I was praying and I was talking to the Lord and I said, you know what? I'm tired of living the same way, doing the same things over and over again. I don't feel like I'm moving. I literally feel like I'm stuck and I don't want to feel stuck anymore. I'm tired of feeling that way. And I remember, I was praying that prayer the December, and the January, I got the word from the Lord to start my business. When I started my business, I had no idea what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. I was just doing something because I could, or because I got that word and I was trying to move out in faith. Fast forward to where I am now, I start to see the alignment that I wouldn't have been able to see from the beginning. And when I say the alignment, I'm talking about from where I started to the people that I came in contact with, to where I'm at now, to what I named my business. I remember when I named my business, I was sitting in my office on my 9 to 5, thinking about what I was going to call my business, and the name came to me, Dynamic Purpose Creations. And at that time, I didn't even realize how prophetic the name of my business was. And it's now that I can look back at all of that and say, man, this was really from God and not just something that I thought of. Right. And I think the reason I have been able to also succeed and not just survive, because a lot of times we talk about survival, and I was literally listening to a speech from a minister a little while ago, Apostle Joshua Selman, and he was talking about the different stages of wealth that exists, and he was talking about survival, comfort. He said something else, but then the last one he said was extravagance, and he said a believer should never find themselves in two places: survival or extravagance, because both of those places are not places that God wants you to be. And I started looking at it, and I say a lot of times we say, I'm just surviving, but I don't think that God wants us to just be surviving. Because for me, when I look at survival, it's bare minimum. It's at the bottom of the step, right? And so I felt like maybe when I just started business, I was just surviving. I was just, trying to get by one day at a time. But then I got to this place where I finally realized what God was saying to me all this time, the direction that He wanted me to go through. And I'm not saying that when you finally get to that place, you're not going to have challenges, because I think you have more challenges when you realize that than you did before. But at the same time, it comes with a feeling of, purpose and intentionality and grace and comfort and peace that makes you feel like, oh, wow, I may not be the best at what I'm doing, because maybe I haven't gotten to that place yet, but at least I know that I'm operating in purpose. And that's what I'm trying to help other entrepreneurs and business owners to understand, that you don't have to do it like Elon Musk does it. You don't have to do it like somebody else who is popular or somebody else who is famous does it. What I need you to do is do it how God called you to do it. And if you do that, then the success that you are supposed to obtain and the success that you're supposed to receive, it will come. But you cannot expect God to bless who you are pretending to be. And a lot of us are how we're pretending to be somebody else or something else that we think maybe social
Yeah.
media or family members or, or environment wants to see. And it's such I'm talking about it now, and I'm starting to get a little bit emotional inside, because it's such a blessing beyond anything that I could have ever imagined or felt.
Right.
In my lifetime, there is a level of peace that comes with knowing that you are walking with God and you're doing exactly what God says and what He called you to do and who He called you to be. And that's really my place of comfort right now. I would
Right.
rather be anywhere else.
Oh, yes. And that place in itself is
Yeah.
is an amazing place to be, and is at peace. And even if with what we are doing and we get overwhelmed or we get frustrated with something, we still have the peace of God in us, that we're like, okay, let's breathe it out
Yes.
one step at a time and let's move through it. Because
Yes.
we've done it before, right?
Yes.
Not necessarily the same thing, but we know now, because we have learned over the years how to take one step at a time. I think people just say, oh, yeah, I'm taking it one step at a time, but really don't know how to take it one step at a time.
Yep.
Right. And in that case, it's like, okay, are we just saying it just because, or do we really mean it? I know with us, we know how to take it step by step because we've gone through that frustration moment.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
learned from that. And as we learn, this is why she is dynamic coach, a coach, right? I'm a perspective coach. This is why we do what we do, because at the end of the day, we have learned something in our life that again we learned the lesson as students, and now we're teaching the lessons that we learned as teachers.
Yes.
So again, these are two places you are always going to be in life, and you cannot be self-centered with the lessons that you have learned. You can't keep those lessons to yourself. We are here as a unit, as a vessel to help other people to grow as well. This is the reason why God put us on this earth. Is to be helpmates to one another. So, let's bring that unity together. You may not see eye to eye with a person, but that doesn't mean that you can't still teach them something, or they can't still teach you something.
Yes. Yes.
So you also said something to the fact of I just lost the train. I just lost the thought. Anywho, we're gonna tap on that. With business, how did you find your purpose in your business?
So I think that before coming into business, I had an idea of what my purpose was. I'm a trained guidance counselor, and so I had already started walking that path. But when I started college to do guidance and counseling, my thing was that I was going to finish school and then go back into the schools to teach young people and to help young people to become better. That was what I had in my mind. That was what I had in my head, that, that's the direction that I'm actually going to go in. And then when I left college, I got a job doing something that was like my plan B. So I didn't get a job immediately after school doing what I went to school for. I got a job doing what I thought was my plan B, which was in HR and recruiting.
Right.
And so as a recruiter, I would meet with hundreds of people regularly. doing interviews for different positions. And so I felt like that's where God was like, can't you see it? Like, don't you see it?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know? And when I say that, I remember doing interviews and just coaching people. I remember praying for people, you know, helping people to dry their tears. They come for interviews, but we end up talking about the stuff that they're going through, you know, the issues that they are facing. And
Right.
so little by little, I started seeing, you know, the footprints and the direction. And so when I ended up starting my business, I started it not doing coaching, but I was selling household items and making candles and doing personalized tumblers and stuff like that.
Right.
And I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like maybe about a year or so after doing that,
Mm-hmm.
I got connected to this business coach. I started following her on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That's Coach Kerr. I started following her on Facebook, and I would always see her stuff coming through. You know, she's having this meeting or that meeting. I would,
Right.
I would never go, but I would, I would always see the stuff come over on my Facebook, but I would never go. And I remember this December, she was having this free thing, Reflect, Relaunch, Reject, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that I don't know what, but I just decided that, you know what, I'm gonna go. And as a matter of fact, prior to that, I remember I was in my room one night and I was praying and I was feeling the pressure of business because doing business alone is not easy. It's
Oh
not
no,
an easy thing,
for sure.
especially when you don't have a support system or you don't have somebody that you can call on and say, hey, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that, or I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. How do you
Mm-hmm.
know, that kind of thing. And so I was feeling the pressure of business and I felt like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. And I stood up in the middle of my room and I started praying. I said, Lord, I need help. I need help. I need somebody who is going to be able to coach me because you know, I'm coachable, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can take constructive criticism. So I'm ready for somebody who is going to help me to, you know, navigate the waters, understand the marketing, understand, because the marketing was the part that was kicking me the most.
Mm.
And I needed help.
Yeah.
And so I remember praying and telling the Lord I needed somebody who is faith-based and their spirit is aligned with mine, somebody
Right.
who's not just gonna come and push what they believe on me, but they are going to understand what I'm trying to do and
Right.
work with me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so the December, I saw the thing and I just decided that, you know what, I'm gonna go. And it was the best decision ever because the meeting was so amazing and it's like every single thing that I needed to hear and that I needed, you know, came from that. And so
Right.
I got connected with Coach Kerr and we started working together.
Mm-hmm.
She had a program that she was teaching you how to create courses and stuff. And I literally just jumped on it and said, you know what, I'm going to go in the program, I'm going to get the knowledge and see where this goes. And
Right.
even then, I didn't know, I still didn't know what God was doing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went through the whole program. At the end of the program, we had this goal or this project where we had to create our own course. And prior to launching the course, we would go live on Instagram.
Mm.
And so my coach went live with me on Instagram for the very first time. I was frightened, but you know, I was crazy nervous, but I
Love it.
still did it, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember when I came off the first live with her on Instagram, I was like, hmm, this feels right. This feels like, it's my domain. This feels like this is where I need to settle. And so the more I went live, the more I interacted with people. I had a boot camp
Right.
that I was doing as well. And the more I interacted with people in that sphere, I started to feel at home. I started to feel like, okay, this is it.
This
And
is it.
so the more I did it was the more I felt like an expert. And I remember after the first year of doing all of that, I sat down and I was trying to remember when I started. And I was saying to myself, oh my, this feels like I've been doing it for 20 years. It doesn't feel like, like a year.
Right.
And so I realized also that when I was doing this, my relationship with God started to get better. And I started to hear from God even more than I was hearing from him before. And so over time, God just gave me the confirmation that, yeah, this is it.
This is it.
Where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And it just became just something. And that's why I tell my mentees all the time, when you get to purpose, nobody has to tell you that you're there. It's going to feel different. It's going to feel like you've been driving for 3 hours, but you finally get to your destination where you can just sit and rest.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like to be able to find purpose. And so when I got that feeling, I kind of knew that, this is where I was supposed to be. And so I just started building and just building. And I remember also God confirming and telling me, sending me to the book of Nehemiah to read the whole chapter of Nehemiah and telling me that I'm in my building phase. And it was such a joy to get that word. So over time, I realized that I became this person that people look to for anything purpose. I've had people reach out to me and just ask me questions where purpose is related. And I remember talking to this young lady and she said to me, you are the purpose girl for real, because everything that you said just now just connected with me. And I find that, I don't know, when I talk to people, it just connects. I don't have to try. I don't have to put any effort into it. It just works.
Right. And that's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be. So that's how, well, not the full story, of course, but that's a part of, how I ended up where I'm at right now. And like I said in the beginning of the conversation, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't have it.
Yes. And you said a mouthful, right? And one of the things you were saying about when you reached to that place where you felt the most comfortable, do you think that in knowing who you are and whose you are brought a comfort to where you settled?
Absolutely. One of the things also, and for those who are listening, you'll hear me talk a lot about God talking to me, because that's an ongoing conversation. It happens a lot.
For sure.
Right. And that's how I'm able to grow, because I have to, my communication with God has to be consistent. And so I remember the Lord saying to me that I had to put in my mentorship curriculum, I had to put at the beginning, understanding him and understanding self, because they go together.
Absolutely.
You cannot serve a God that you don't know. You have to know the nature of God. You have to know how God works. You have to know how he moves. You have to know, what he consists of. And when you understand who God is, then it's like holding up a mirror, because when you understand him, you immediately start to see yourself in a different light, right? And so when those two come together and are aligned, then you start to see your purpose just transition piece by piece by piece. And in the moment, sometimes you may not be able to see all of what's going on, but it's like when you get to purpose, it's like you are climbing a hill. So when you get to the top of the hill, you can stand up and look back down at where you're coming from, and you start to see that, whoa, the steps were actually lined up all along, but I wasn't able to see it because I was inside. But now that I'm at the top, you know, I can see that everything is aligned. So definitely those things are, those two things are
I
very,
like
very, very important.
that description that you said about being at the top of the mountain. I usually tell people it's like when you far away from a picture, sometimes it's fuzzy.
Yep.
And as you continue moving closer and closer, it becomes a little bit more clearer.
Yeah.
More clearer with every step you take.
Yes.
So it's the same concept. And I love how you brought that together. And, you know, just to show people, we don't know what we're necessarily doing, but because we lean into the process.
Yes.
And we just keep on moving step by step. And with God's help, I like to say that God is within us.
Yes.
Right?
He is.
God is within us. We are made in his image. So with that, we have to know, in order to find God, we have to find self. And we have to understand who self is. Not who everybody says we are, not who, you know, people think we are. Find out for yourself who you are.
Yes. Yes.
Because in finding self, you will find God, because God is in you.
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, you know.
Sorry, I wanted to say this before you continue, Kimmy. You touched on something that I just have to share this. You said that God is in us, and that we were made in his image. And specifically, the word says in his image and his likeness. And I got a revelation about almost a year or a little over a year now, because I think that when we talk about being made in God's image and his likeness, we think physical features.
Right. It's not.
And I remember the Lord saying to me, image and likeness reflects characteristics. And so if we serve a God that is patient and is kind and he's loving, and you know, he is gracious, and he is, the word says he's slow to anger and plenteous in mercy, it means that us being made in his image and his likeness, that those things are also in us.
Yes.
But we have to practice. And there is a phrase that is always said that says practice makes perfect. But I got another version of it the other day that says practice makes permanence. And I was like, yes, that makes a lot more sense. Because if you practice something long enough, it becomes a staple for you. It becomes permanent. It becomes something that, you know, is second nature, and you don't have to try too hard to do it. And so I don't think that we realize that because we come from God, that some of the characteristics and certain characteristics that God possesses, we possess those characteristics as well. And I think that the sooner we realize the similarities in terms of image and likeness, then we will start to see ourselves in a different light. And that's why the Bible is also able to go down centuries later for the apostle to say, I can do all things through Christ who
Through Christ.
strengthens me, because he's in me. I'm in his likeness. I'm in his image. So
Yes.
what he reflects is already in me. So
In
through
me.
him, I
It's
can
just
get
for
it
me
done.
to walk through it and use what is in me
Yes,
to do the things that he has assigned us to.
exactly.
So I'm glad you emphasized on that. Like that was good. That was good. This I when I started to do this, it was just really me using my platform to shine a light on other people
Mhm.
that might not necessarily be able to get that light shined on them or have anybody else see them from other countries,
Mhm.
right? Because I did start with a few. When I first started a couple of years ago, I started with a young man from Trinidad, and I started with another young lady from St. Lucia, and a couple of other people from other countries.
Right.
And my main thing is like, because of where we're located, sometimes
Mhm.
we don't necessarily get the oomph
Yes.
that we need or
Yeah.
the push that we need to be able to let people see what we do and who we are, right? Because we're so boxed in sometimes, right? So when I started this is what I started it for, just to spread it, especially to my Caribbean people, because I'm from the Caribbean and I know how limited it can be sometimes in the Caribbean. So I just wanted to, that's where I started. That's where I wanted to start with this, because of that reason. But now that I've done it for so long and the more people that I meet, I'm like, you know what? I need to shine a light on the people that is in better light to the people in the Caribbean so that they can be able to see who they can get attached to as well.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I say all that to say thank you for allowing me to shine a light on you and for you to shine a light on other people in the world or that you have came in contact with. You have really helped me to see a lot of and learn a lot in the time that we were in and I was in your mentorship. And at that time for me, I was learning myself even more, especially learning myself in God.
Yes.
That's where I was like, okay, I'm doing this thing. Am I doing what it is that he wants me to do? Is this really what my purpose is? Right? And when I saw that you had the mentorship from purpose, it was from purpose to from something to purpose, right? In God's eyes or something, and that's what. And I was like, you know what? This might be something and I don't think I knew you long.
No, you didn't. I think you signed up the same night that we came in contact. The same night.
Was it?
Yes, the same night when you came to the event. I think we had spoken like maybe once before when I went live. You came on my live.
Okay.
And then you got invited to the event that I was having, I think at the end of the year, and you just jumped on the mentorship program.
That's the thing. What is meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I learned so much in that space of time of myself, of my purpose, of who I am in Christ, who I am in God. It's brought me to a place now, along with other mentorships that I was a part of, business wise, with the two and maybe one others that I did like like a one-time thing. With the combination, it really helped me to get a little bit more comfortable with this path of being the light of God.
Yes.
And also being who I am and being comfortable in what I do, even though I was already comfortable because I was doing it already.
Yes.
Right. And always giving people advice, always showing them a different sense of what they were going through. And so I was always doing that. And I had a couple of people, like one young lady that I call my sister, another one I call my cousin. The both of them had said to me at different times, like, you need to do something with what you're doing. I'm like, what am I doing? I had no idea. Like, I was just being me. And that's how I called it. I'm just being me. What do you mean? They was like, no, what you do, with you being you see things in a different perspective.
Yes.
You see things in a different light. You have a lot of insight in what you, and how you express it to people. And I was like, oh, okay.
You weren't at the top of the mountain just yet, so you couldn't see it
At all. And I was like, okay. And then at the same time, just to, put a little synopsis on how I got the name of my company, I kept seeing butterflies for a whole year and some change. And one day I'm standing on my balcony and a butterfly comes and circles around me and then flies off. It was to the point that I even saw butterflies at night. And butterflies don't come out at night.
No.
Okay? And it's like, what is happening with these butterflies? And listen, y'all, I live in a concrete jungle. We don't see butterflies in the concrete jungle. Okay? But this year, in this concrete jungle, I saw it everywhere I went. And I was just like, okay. So y'all telling me one thing, I'm seeing all these butterflies happening all at the same time. I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm going to go with the flow. So when I did come across my other coach, which I call my mentor. I came across her, and with her saying is she helps you create lanes so that you cannot be so you don't have to keep fighting with anybody in their lane. Right? So, when I got into talking with her and understanding her, and I got on a clarity call with her, she helped me to narrow down where I can go with this business. Because I had an LLC when I went to her. I did not know where I was going with this thing called business entrepreneurship. I was like, okay, well, Lord, I'm leaning in. You let me know what I'm doing, and you put the people in my path.
Yes.
And as I kept leaning into it, is where I kept meeting different people to help me along in the process. And you were definitely one of those people that helped me to see who I am in God's eyes.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that, first of all. I thank you for that.
Thank God. Thank God. I thank God for that. Yes.
Yes. And I really do thank God for each and every person that He has put in my path, because I learned something from each and every one of them. And it helped me to be the person that I am today.
Yes.
So, but we cannot leave without me not giving you your flowers now. Because you being who you are and understanding who you are, is you're able to now to teach other people
Yes.
how to get to that same place.
Yes. Yes.
You know, through God, through understanding that God is not only a higher being, but
Right.
He is in us, and He is our higher power.
Yes.
You know, so I just want to thank you for that. But I am so glad that we did this today. I'm
Yes.
absolutely amazed.
I am too.
So with that being said, let the people know where they could find you.
Yes.
If you have anything coming up, what's the deal? What we going on?
So I always have something that's going on. So if you are struggling with understanding your calling and struggling with understanding who God has called you to be, my mentorship door is always open. You can go to bit.ly/call to purpose. There is an outline there of what the mentorship program entails. And if you are interested in being mentored, you can register there. Additionally, if you want to do meet with me first before you sign up, you can go to my Instagram page, Facebook, or TikTok, which is at Dynamic Purpose Coach. And once you go into my bio, you'll see the link there for the free consultation. So you can click on the free consultation, select a date and time to meet with me so that we can have a discussion, because I believe in having previous discussions. Not everybody is for you, and you're not for everybody. So
Yes.
if you're someone who wants to talk more first to find out if I really am that person for you, I'm okay with that. That's not a problem.
Absolutely.
Also for the business side of things, Dynamic Professional Services. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. And you can find me there. And if you just go to Google and type in Coach Sharline, you'll find me. I guarantee. Right?
Absolutely.
So, I'm always here to help. And if you just feel like you want to have a conversation, just reach out to me in my DMs and I'll be happy to talk to you. One of the things that I pride myself on is being a servant of God. And being a servant of God means that I serve His people in any way and in any capacity that I am called to. And if the Lord leads me to give someone an encouragement, I'm not gonna call them and be like, yo, you gotta pay for this. Nah, that's not how it works. Yes, money, things have to be purchased in order for the business to stay afloat. But I'm a servant of God first, because that's what He has called me to do. And He has confirmed to me more than one occasions within the past couple of years that this is more than a business, it's a ministry. And so I am called to serve. And that's what I'm focusing on. And just to add this as well, that even recently, the Lord spoke to me and was talking to me about the whole business of going viral on social media. And I remember when I just got on social media, all I wanted to do was to go viral, because I thought that if I went viral, it would give me the reach that I need in terms of being able to reach the number of people that I need. And so in recent times, one of the things that the Lord has been saying to me is, you don't need to go viral. I didn't call you to go viral. I called you to serve. Going viral is gravy, right?
Yes.
So a lot of times we think that we have to, even as coaches and other business owners and entrepreneurs, we feel like we have to go viral in order for people to see us. Recently, I started posting shorts on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and it wasn't even intentionally. And within less than a month, I've been up to like 100,000 views, and my subscribers grew from 24 to over 100. I'm over 100 now in less than a month, right? So the point I'm making is, wherever God has called you to serve, serve there, because whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 people, the people who need to get the message that you have been called
Absolutely.
to give will see that message, and you don't have to go viral for that message to be sent. And so even what you are doing, Kimmy, I thank God for you, and I thank God for the Shine a Light program, because it's, like you said earlier, bringing to the fore and shining light on those people who are not usually seen, those people who may not necessarily go viral,
Right.
because a lot of times people get discouraged because they feel like they've been putting in so much work, but they are not being seen.
Right.
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 And that is something too that I struggled with in the beginning. And it's also something that the Lord had to really draw me up about and say, listen, I'm in the 1, I'm in the 2, I'm in the 3. It doesn't have to be 30, 40 people. Yeah, there is going to be a time when you're going to go further where the classes are going to be 30 and 40. But if you start with 1 or 2 or 3, do it. And that's why the word says, whatever you do, do it with all your might. Don't wait until you get to the 30 and the 40 to do it with all your might. When it's 1, do it with all your might. When it's 2, do it with all your might. When it's 100, keep doing it with all your might, because that's what God requires of you.
Absolutely. And with that being said, it's like, yes, we want to have many.
Yeah.
Right. But we got to get prepared
for
the many.
Oh, yes.
Because in having all those people that is your followers, and having all those people who is attached to you, are you going to be able to take care of all of those people all at the same time?
And sometimes they're blocking the vision of the people that you really need to serve. Because having 10,000 followers on your page doesn't mean that God called you to serve all 10K. They may be following you, but the message that you are giving may not be for all of those people who are in your audience.
Yes.
And so you'll find that when it's time for them to join your community, a lot of them won't, because the message ain't for them. It's not for all of them. The people who the message is for, those people will come to the front. God will allow those people to come to the front so that the message that you have, been called to give, it can. I'm so passionate about this whole thing that I literally could sit here and just talk all night.
Forever.
And talk all night, because it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I think there is a scripture in the Bible that talks about when you receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, that it's like a well that's springing up inside of you. And that's what I feel like when I get into the zone and I start to talk about purpose, and I start to talk about God and how both things align. I just feel like I could keep talking. Talking. I'm not gonna stop talking. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk too much.
Yes, no, I completely understand that, because especially when I'm speaking to somebody who gets those aha moments, and you see the light, you literally see the light getting brighter and brighter and brighter as you're talking to them, because they're having that aha moment.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, okay, that's why that happened, blah, blah, blah. So, and as you're talking to them, you see that light going off. And when you see that light going off, it's just like, okay, now your
yes
starts to come, and you're like
I see it. I see it. I see
my
it.
purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So yes, I understand. Oh, it's just so amazing. God is so amazing.
Yes, he is.
And if you guys are not connected to the God in you, please get connected to that God in you.
Yep.
Find myself, find Sharline. One of us will help you to find the God in you, because we all have the God in us. And we
Mhm.
have to, if we want to succeed in this thing called life, if you are in entrepreneurship and you want to succeed at being an entrepreneur, you have to know the God in you. You have to know
Mhm.
self.
Yep.
Because if you don't know self, people would run over you.
Yes.
You have to be 10 toes down in who you are and whose you are. And once you're there, there's no rocking you.
Mhm.
But I'm so glad we had this conversation. I'm so happy to bring this conversation to light. Thank
Mhm.
you again for being a part.
Thank
All her
you.
information will be in the description below, but of course. And you'll be able to get in contact with Sharline as who she is and all her information. Until then, I will see you guys on the next go around. Um, before I forget, tell the people one one last thing that you want them to know about you.
Ah. Oh, one last thing I want them to know about me. If you ain't about God, I'm not the one for you.
There you go. I love it.
If you ain't about God, I am so not the one for you. I'm just being honest.
Yes.
I made a post on YouTube, maybe about, I think it was last week or something. And I was talking about, the importance of having God in your business, and somebody from somewhere, I don't even know who the person is, but they commented and they were like, you don't have to have religion to be successful in business. I was like, okay.
But it's
So
not about religion. It's
yeah,
who you
it's about
are
knowing God, right?
and knowing God.
And
Very
so
you.
I was very respectful. Like, I wasn't disrespectful. I told him that, I appreciated his comment, and that's his opinion, and he's
Mm-hmm.
so entitled to that opinion. However, over on this side, we about God and nothing less and
That's right.
nothing else but God.
That's it.
And
And
people don't understand that when I say I'm about God, I know what I'm talking about, Kimmy,
mhm,
because I've been through some things that,
absolutely.
had it not been for the God that I serve,
Woo,
I
baby.
would have been dead or crazy.
Okay.
So there's no way that I can live life without God. And I'm not separating business from personal life, from professional life. It's all God.
Absolutely not, because they all
He,
you.
he's mixed up in all of it,
All of it.
right? So if you are about God, please feel free to, reach out to me on social media, or if you are someone who is trying to get to that place where you are working on your relationship with God. I got you.
Absolutely.
I got you. I got you.
Right. And the thing is, God, knowing who God is not about religion. Religion
Mhm.
and that is two different things. You
Yep.
don't have to be in a Christian. You don't have to be Buddhist. You don't have to be none of that stuff. But knowing who God is, because God is in you, that's what it's about, and
Mhm.
that's what we thrive on. You don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you.
And knowing, when you start to know God, believe me, he'll show you all the things that you need to see, all the decisions that you need to make. He'll tell you all of it, where to go,
All of it,
what
and
to
He will
do.
guide you through the way.
Yeah, because you are, focusing, and you are giving, intentional thought
Right.
to the relationship with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about intentionality as well,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So, but listen, we can go all day, okay? But we're not going to. So, thank you again for being a part of this Shine a Light episode. Until next time, guys, this is your girl, Kimmy B of Butterfly Thoughts, where we shine lights on other people's lights to ignite their lights. And until next time, peace. Thank you for watching my channel. Until next time, remember, empower your mind, encourage your soul, and let your light shine.